Well, it's funny. Here I'm making a picture about prejudice, and I had a prejudice because I was petrified to meet these guys. I think it was Arno Michaelis was the first person I interviewed. He really scared me. I mean, he had tattoos all over, and he's a big guy, and I said, what am I getting into? And, so I judged him like that. But then, oh my God, he was wonderful, so nice. And so I got through that, and I really ended up liking all these guys. They were so sensitive, and I just can't even imagine them being in the movement, being so hateful. They were all so loving. I think people are born with love, but then along the way it changes by what happens to them in their lives. White supremacists go after people that are vulnerable. And they say, oh, you're really smart. You'll go far in our organization. And they offer a community, which these people never really had. They offer them love and a purpose, and they join it. It wasn't even that some of them were prejudiced beforehand. It was just a place to go, a new family. And then they got involved in the hatred. Social media is really bad because they target people that are vulnerable, and they go after them. All of them had difficult childhoods. Many of them came from very dysfunctional families, alcohol, abuse. Tim Kurek, who is not a white supremacist, but came from a very conservative home where they didn't like homosexuals, and he was homeschooled, so that's all he knew. Shannon Martinez was, a woman that was in it. She said her whole life was the white supremacist group. They lived together, they ate together, they talked together, and she mentioned it just totally suffocated her old real life out. She realized that she wasn't the person that she really is. She said, one of the things she mentioned, how can I love literature and be this horrible person going around hurting people? Each one had their own story. The only common story was when they had babies. And they said, oh my gosh, I can't bring my child up in this hateful atmosphere. When you have a child, it just changes your life. I mean, it's just such a beautiful thing. And you look at this innocent baby, and you have all these dreams for the baby. You look at your baby's eyes, and you're in charge of that child, and they just rethought what they were doing. A lot of people don't realize how their words and actions affect people. Like Nadine mentioned how words matter, and her father always taught her that. Mm-hmm. And people often just don't realize how hurtful and how it can affect people's lives, their whole lives. They're scarred by what happened. So I just wanted to show them how prejudice really affects people. In my movie, there's a Sikh named Pardeep Kadelki, and his father and brother were killed by a white supremacist. And he goes around speaking about how to counter hate and prejudice. And he says something like, you can't counter hate and violence with more hate and violence. He said, you have to counter it with understanding, empathy, and love.